What's going on, everybody? Jason here, and I've got the highly anticipated 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L, and this is the Laredo Altitude version. And as you can see, this is a fully redesigned Grand Cherokee, which in my opinion was, well anticipated and well needed. And of course, as for the trims, it's just like the normal older Grand Cherokees. You can get the Laredo, the Altitude, which is the Laredo Altitude, of course. The Limited, you can get the Overland, and then Summit, and then underneath the Summit you can get something called Summit Reserve, which is a much fancier version. And starting off in the front of this Laredo, since this is the Altitude package, everything is blacked out, your badging, wheels, and everything. And now you get standard LED lights, but on these ones you do not get fog lights. Every other trim level in the Grand Cherokee you do get fog lights. And if you do choose the Overland version, you will get vertical tow hooks in the front. Now, this being the Altitude version, there are a bunch of different options that do come standard with the Altitude compared to the normal Laredo. So the standard ones obviously you get are those beautiful 20-inch gloss black wheels. You get gloss black exterior accents, like I mentioned, badging and all of that. You also get the gloss black roof rails up top. And then you get leather bucket seats with a power liftgate, remote start, and a few other things. Also in the front, I really like this new design now, and of course you get the standard 7 slots, of course, fully blacked out, and you get a little bit of room down here. Now again, this is all covered off, but in between here you do get room for obviously airflow and whatnot. And I also like how they made the headlights very sleek. This kind of reminds me of the Ram 1500 Limiteds, where they're nice and thin and very sleek and just look really nice with the body line of this vehicle. Typically where your fog lights would go, you get a little logo that says since 1941, of course. And if you go onto the other side, it has a little Jeep logo right there, kind of like an Easter egg, you can say. Another thing to notice, I'm not sure if you can see, but in between right there, those little flaps, it's so hard to see, but those are your active grille shutters, obviously for aerodynamics and whatnot. Taking a look at it from the side, again, this looks absolutely beautiful with the curvature and all of that. I'll show you in a second, but in the back it kind of reminds me of a Range Rover from kind of like a different angle. But hey, again, it's a Jeep Grand Cherokee, looks absolutely beautiful. Speaking of the Altitude package, like I mentioned, of course you also get the bezeling around here blacked out. You do get on all of the trims the body colored roof, but on the Summits you get a black roof. And as for the color options that you can get on these beauties, you can get Baltic gray, bright white, diamond black, which is obviously this one, silver, and velvet red. And of course, as for the wheels, these are 20-inch gloss black wheels, which I think look absolutely stunning with it all being all blacked out. And I think the Altitude package, if you are getting the Laredo, is definitely a must. And also these beautiful side mirrors look absolutely stunning because you do get this nice little bar at the bottom, which is your obviously turn signals, and it just looks nice and flush. Making your way to the rear of this Grand Cherokee L Laredo, again, you can see the beautiful designing on the rear. You've got these nice thin looking tail lights just like the front, and they look absolutely beautiful because it just fits the body lines very nice. You also got the blacked out Jeep emblem, and then you've got the L badging there, and then the 4x4 badging right there. Right underneath, this does have the trailer tow package, so underneath this you do have your hitch, receiver, and all of that. As for your exhaust, it is hidden underneath on both sides. Also on the rear you do get built-in sensors which go all the way along, and I like how they kind of like broken up the rear with this kind of a little design pattern that goes all the way along, and then your reflectors on both sides. Also, because of the Grand Cherokee L Laredos have a rear axle ratio of 3.45, you can actually tow about 6,200 pounds with this beauty. At the top, you've also got kind of like a, you can call it like a little spoiler type of a thing, and then a nice brake light bar that goes right in between that. And if you go ahead and open up the rear, this is a power tailgate, which is standard with the Altitude package. Back here, this kind of reminds me of a Durango, if you've ever seen a Durango from the interior. I'll show you inside what I mean in the rear seats as well. Again, this is a 6-passenger. You can get an optional 7-passenger seating. Now, back here, you've got a little bit of room on both sides. You've got some hooks and then your 12-volt adapter. And then this right here is for your tailgates. You can just press it and it locks. You've got 2 additional hooks on both sides if you need to tie down anything. Lifting this up right here, you've got additional storage. And of course, in this section right here, you've got kind of like your car jack and all of that safety stuff that you would ever need if you're stuck on the side of the road. And it's very simple to fold down the rear seats. You pull this tab here, which puts your headrest down. You keep holding this. I can't do it with one hand, but let's try. And then you just push it forward. And then of course this strap is to just pull it back, and then you bring this back up. So let's go ahead and jump into the rear. It's a very, very nice vehicle. I really like what they did with the new Grand Cherokees, and I think these ones are gonna really sell more than what they're expecting. Coming into the rear of the Grand Cherokee L, if we take a look at the doors, very nice looking material that they use, especially this, I guess you can say it's a granite, like a smooth finish that goes all around the vehicle. I think it looks really nice. Of course, you've got a little bit of storage here with your cup holder and a massive speaker. Now, on the Laredos, you only get the 6 speaker standard system that comes with the vehicle from the factory. The other models, you can get the upgraded speakers, which do sound very nice. And also, you've got this nice leather piece that goes all the way around with the white stitching. It just complements the car very nice. And as for the seats, you've got 2 captain seats, which look absolutely stunning. You've got handrests on both of them, which of course is very nice to have, especially on the long drives that you may go on this with your family. As for the seating, very nice and plush. You've got leather around, and then kind of like a cloth, kind of reminds me of like an Alcantara type feeling, but it's not. It looks really nice and plush. And of course, these seats do move front and back with this lever, so you can kind of adjust them for the people in the back, which I'll show you in a second. In front of the passenger and driver seats, or actually behind it, you've got a little bit of netting on both sides to put whatever you need to. And of course, you've got 2 cup holders back here, and then USB ports, type C, and then your 115 volt at the back. And then I like this with the dual climate that they've done. People at the back can control whatever they need to. Looks really clean. So in order to access the rear 2 seats, there's 2 ways that you can fold these seats forward or move them forward. The first way is this little latch here, and you'll notice this thing pops up right next to it telling you that the seat is unlocked. All you really have to do right now is just pull forward, and it goes right forward, and then of course you can just access the rear 2 seats at the back. And to put it back down, you put that down, push the seat down, it locks into place. And to adjust it, like I mentioned, you push this all the way back. Now the second way to do it is you pull on this little lever right here, which will fold the seat down. And then this is kind of tricky with one hand, but I'll try to do it my best. You're gonna have to pull this up, and then once that does it, you can kind of push this up just like that and access it through here. Now at the back, of course, these seats are just as comfortable as these seats right here. So you've got cup holders on both sides, and you've got more USB ports, both normal ones and type C on both sides. So they definitely haven't forgot about the passengers back here. But again, it's really nice to have if you have a a family that you want to take around town or on a road trip. Really nice. And as far as off-roading, if you do want to take this beast, off-roading or wherever you want to take it, you definitely can. And it can actually go through fording water as well. Now there's 2 different kind of like I guess you could say dimensions that you want to keep in mind. Is because this one does not have the quadra suspension, you cannot go through that amount of water compared to the one that will have it, like a Summit. With these ones, you can go up to 21 inches, I believe, through fording water. But if you had the air suspension, you can go up to 24 inches through fording water. And as for the key, it is also newly redesigned, and it just looks really nice. It's a, it's pretty heavy, obviously, as for a key. But on here, you've got your lock, unlock, remote start, your tailgate open, panic button, and then of course Jeep on the back. And I like how they have like chrome and silver all around, which looks really nice and clean. So this vehicle does have keyless entry. Typically you would see a little black button here, but you've got these little stripes which you press, it locks the vehicle, and then all you have to do is have your key with you underneath and it unlocks. To open your tailgate, you just double tap and it just opens. And of course, if you want to close it, double tap and it shuts it right from the key. And to hear what this beauty sounds like, you double tap, give it a second, and the Grand Cherokee L comes to life. And as for the engine options, when it comes to the Laredo, you can only get the 3.6 liter V6 Pentastar engine, and this is also just standard on both the obviously Laredo and the Limiteds. If you want to get the 5.7 V8 Hemi, you'll have to go into either the Overland or the Summit. And this is obviously an 8-speed automatic, which gives you 290 horsepower with 257 foot-pound of torque. Coming over to the driver's side, again, very similar material as to the rear. You've got this nice metallic looking piece that goes all the way around. You've got your window controls, your side mirror controls, space down here to put whatever you need, and cup holders, and then of course more leather with the white stitching, and then that massive speaker once again. Now check this interior out. This is by far my favorite interior. Again, with the seats, they're very similar to the rear seats. You've got leather all around with the white stitching, and then kind of like a cloth insert in between there. You can either get these kind of seats or a full cloth seating. Underneath, nothing too special, just your foot pedals, and on these you do get lighting for your footwell as well. You've got your hood latch release, and then your electronic parking brake. Right above that, you've got your lighting controls, and then your dimmers, and then this steering wheel is manual adjustable. And of course, the front seats are power adjustable. Why not? So as you enter this Grand Cherokee L, you are welcome with a ton of luxury items that just look absolutely beautiful. For example, you've got this nice kind of like a, not a leather, but a cushiony leather, I guess you can say, that goes all the way around. Looks absolutely beautiful. You've got 1, 2, and then 3 speakers up front in the dash, and I like what they did with the vents. They made them nice and thin, again, just like the front lights and the rear lights. You've got more leather, kind of a trim here, hard leather, and then white stitching that goes here, and then of course all the way around. And like I was saying, that smooth finish, metallic or gray finish, that goes from here, carries on over here, and all across. First off, let's talk about this beautifully leather wrapped steering wheel. This is the best thing that Jeep probably has done in their Grand Cherokees. It looks really unique and obviously modern at the same time with the white stitching, and then you've got some silver trim that goes around here, and then more of that gray metallic finish here, and then of course your Jeep logo there with the black background and the silver outlining. On the actual steering wheel, you've got controls for your center gauge cluster. Now this is a digital gauge cluster, which looks really nice, and it has a ton of different things that you can do in this, which I'll go over with you. You've got your Bluetooth settings here. This button here, if you press it, it does this to the center screen. It's just so much stuff that is going on in here is really nice in terms of technology. And of course, you've got your adaptive cruise controlling here with stop and go, and then of course your cruise control settings. There's a ton of features, standard features that come on these, which are the safety features, and they are a must-have. You're getting things like lane departure, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, advanced brake assist, blind spot and rear cross path detection, and full speed collision warning. Also, what you get, I don't know if you can see it, they're poking out a little bit, but you get paddle shifters on both sides, which are very nice. To the left of the steering wheel, you've got your indicators and turn signals, and of course to the right, you've got your windshield wipers and all of that stuff. And of course, this is push to start, and they've got a nice design that goes around it, the bezeling. I'll show you on the gear selector as well, because that gets carried over to that too. Now, probably my favorite part in the vehicle, the center gauge cluster. There's a ton going on. Again, you can see like the typical stuff that you have. Like I mentioned, you can press that little button that I showed you, which brings up all different things, and you can scroll through each of them, and if you press OK, it'll jump to that. So something cool that you can do here, if you go ahead and press and hold the OK button here, it will actually change the section in the middle, which will look like this now. Or you can press and hold OK again, and it'll bring it back to this. I think that's really nice to have. You have different options of how you want to look at your screen. And of course, you can scroll through each of the sections like any other vehicle. For example, you've got your speed here, you've got your vehicle information here, you've got your trip info, you've got audio, you've got messages, settings, and then you're back to your main menu, which is your speed. On the center handrest, you've got full leather with the white stitching all around. It looks really nice and clean. If you open this up, the first section here, you've got a little bit of room to put something. And something cool is that you can kind of put this at any angle and it won't just drop down, which is really nice. So if you close this and you open up the actual section here, you've got a little bit of a lighting here and then a decent amount of storage in there. One thing that I wish that Jeep did is either put like a 12-volt adapter in here or a USB port if you want to put something there charging. But again, that's just a very, very small minor thing that, you know, it's just a personal preference. If we go ahead and close that, you've got a ton of black all around. It's just like a piano black. You've got your cup holders here, which are illuminated at night. And then this is the gear selector that I was talking about. You see here the bezeling around here, which carries on from this, and I think it looks really, really nice. Now, you may be wondering, hey, where are the off-road options on here? Well, let me explain something to you. There's obviously 3 different 4x4 systems that you can get with Jeeps if you're already a past Jeep owner or you know a thing or two about Jeeps. And with the Laredos, you get the Quadra-Track 1 4x4 system, which automatically switches between 2-wheel and 4-wheel drive, but it will not have like your off-road settings here, which will include like rock, sand, mud, snow, auto, and sport. However, on the other trims like the Limited, Overland, Summit, and all of that, you will have a section here and a little knob that you can flick through those particular options. And that system is called the Jeep Select Terrain Traction Management System. Also, since the Laredos have the Quadra-Track 1 4x4 system, on the Overland and Summit trims, you get the Quadra-Track 2 4x4 Jeep system. And then of course the third one that you have is the Quadra Drive, which I'm assuming is going to be available on the Grand Wagoneers. And as we move up, you've got more, of course, piano black here, and then if you press this, you've got a ton of room in here to put your phone for charging, because this is a wireless charger. You've got a 12-volt adapter here, and then more USB ports, the regular ones, and then the Type-C, and then of course your aux. The Grand Cherokee L spared no shortage of USB ports. They're all over the vehicle. And right above that, you've got your temperature controls, heating and cooling. This is dual control system, and you can sync it to have it just as one, of course, just like any other vehicle. You've got your volume and then your tuning buttons here. You've got heated seats, heated steering wheel, and then passenger heated seats. And I'm assuming in between here, if you did get other trims, that would be your ventilated seating. Also, the heated seat package is standard on the Laredos, which I think is a must-have. And we move up to that screen. Of course, it's surrounded by piano black, and this is an 8.4-inch touchscreen, which I think looks really, really nice. Now, as for the 8.4-inch touchscreen, this is standard on the Laredo models, but if you want the bigger 10.1-inch screen, you'll have to get either the Limited, Overland, or the Summit models. And right above that, you've got your stop and start button here, your lane departure, traction control, your parking sensors, and then sport mode right there. I like how they put the buttons up here, which looks really, really clean. And of course, if we flick through here, you can go through home, your music settings, you've got your heating and cooling stuff here. You can control the front and then of course the rear, or you can control the rear from that little section that I showed you at the back. But it's really, really nice. I like how they did this little figure on here. It's just a small little touch, looks really, really cool. And of course, you've got your phone settings if you want to set up your Bluetooth. Here is your vehicle settings that you want to put in. You can change all the things around. If you go over to controls, again, you can see your rear view camera, screen off, and then from the front, your third row seating, you can actually fold your headrest just from a touch of a button right here. And then if we flick over to this section here, you can have your favorites, recents, and all of that, or you can just click categories and just go through all of this. And then if you press up on top of here, you can control things, obviously your heating and cooling and all of that. And then you can flick through these little buttons up here as well. And something cool that you can get with the Summit Reserves, again, you obviously get the bigger touchscreen, and you'll get also, which I'm pretty excited to see once that vehicle does come in, you obviously get your heads-up display, which on these ones you do not get. You also get night vision, interior facing camera, so you can see what's going on in the rear passengers section. You've got your off-road camera on that section, surround view camera, obviously, intersection collision assist, rear backup camera washer, and highway assist, and other things. That's gonna be like a fully equipped. But on the Laredos, even though it doesn't have that stuff, it still looks very, very premium and very futuristic with the technology that it has. Up top, you've just got your standard mirror, rear view mirror, and then right above that, you've got your lighting for interior, your tailgate opening, and then assist and SOS buttons. You've got your sunroof options here, opening and venting, and this does have the regular power sunroof, which looks really, really nice. On the other trim levels, you can have the panoramic, which I'm assuming goes all the way back there, which I think they should have just done standard on all of the trim levels regardless, but hey, sunroof, better than no sunroof. And as for the window sticker, of course, this is the 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Altitude version. Here are the specs of the vehicle, and then you've got your standard equipment right there, along with your optional equipment. As you can see, this is pretty much everything you can get on this. So this is pretty much a fully loaded Altitude. So yeah, if you're looking to get anything further than that, you'll have to go up obviously in the trim levels. And that's all for this 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Laredo Altitude. Let me know in the comments down below if you love it or if you hate it.